I've got this ankle injury. I'm on crutches. I need help.
How the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
Apply today for my 6-month mentorship program. Space is limited. Hello, beautifuls. My name is Bo Yi, founder of IBelieveInLoveAgain.com. I'm a mentor and friend for survivors of child sexual abuse, any kind of sexual abuse. I'm a mentor and friend for codependents and also love addicts. So today I kind of wanted to do some reading to you. I want to explain what love addiction is and different treatments for love addiction. I believe that love addiction is something that, gosh, I mean, I know I'm a recovering love addict. I would say that this is something that is very common for many survivors of child sexual abuse to develop. It's almost like inevitable. Yeah. So there's something called sex addiction and something called love addiction. They are different, but having both of these addictions are common for survivors of child sexual abuse. For me, I have more of a problem with love addiction and romantic fantasy addiction. It can completely just derail me, and yeah, it makes me like obsess over like a relationship, and then I don't take care of myself. So when that happened to me, I realized that I had a problem, and then I went into recovery for it. So I just want to kind of go over this with you guys. What is love addiction? So I'm literally going to read a couple of articles to you. So if you want to follow along, I'm going to provide links below in the description so you can click on them, follow along. So this first one is from psychcentral.com by Alexandra Kate Hackis. I'm probably saying her name totally wrong. I don't know, she's got a lot of titles. But anyways, okay, she says here, what is love addiction? People develop addictions to shield themselves from intolerably painful feelings. An addiction always creates harmful, often ignored consequences. Only when the addiction becomes unmanageable will people do something about it. So that's what happened to me when I realized, my gosh, I'm just falling apart. I'm not taking care of my body. I've got this ankle injury. I'm on crutches. I need help. Like, I need help. This is ridiculous. Then I got the help, you know, but still I was in denial for a very long time, for months really, until I realized, oh my gosh, I really am a love addict. And I'll go more into my story later in the future, but I just kind of want to give an overview. Okay, so now love addicts spend much time, effort on a person to whom they are addicted. Love addicts value this person above themselves, and their focus on the beloved other often is obsessive. So this is a big problem, right? Because like, we shouldn't put anyone before God, and with love addicts we put relationships before God. Absolutely we do. Okay, so this behavior results in love addicts neglecting to care for themselves in a variety of ways, in essence abandoning important aspects of their lives and well-being to stay connected to the object of their affections. Again, I've been guilty of that in so many relationships. My goodness. Love addiction doesn't necessarily pertain only to romantic or sexual relationships. It is possible for a person to relate as a love addict with their friends, children, sponsor, guru, or religious figure, or even with a movie star whom they have never met. So yeah, that's interesting. For me, I would say my love addiction was pretty much just with boyfriends, but I have seen people, you know, like say they're like super close to their daughter or like son or their brother, or you know, but not in an incestual way, like just like they're just so obsessed with them over themselves. Yeah. Okay, so a love addict's core fantasy is the expectation that someone else can solve their problems, provide unconditional positive regard at all times, and take care of them. When this unrealistic need isn't met, love addicts may find themselves feeling resentful and may create conflict in their relationships with others. So for me, I know like I would try to love and love and love and love on my boyfriends, hoping that they would never leave me, hoping that they would see my value, hoping that they would propose to me one day. So that this was a problem, because like some of these guys were not healthy for me whatsoever, and I really shouldn't have had an interest in them to begin with. But see, the thing with me was like I tended to attract a lot of narcissists. So with narcissists, they often love bomb us in the beginning. So they say everything, they do everything that's just perfect in the beginning. So I get hooked on that, like a drug addict would get hooked on drugs. It's like the same exact thing. So with me, I get addicted to like perceived love. I call it perceived love because it's not like true love, because any love from a narcissist is not true love. So I get addicted to this perceived love. I get addicted to this fantasy I create in my head. Whoops. Let's click that off. And then it's a downward spiral from there, because then what happens is my narc takes away that perceived love on purpose to get me, you know, to do whatever he wants me to do for him, whether it's, you know, just physically or like with my money or just emotionally, like whatever they need from me, I give to them, because I'm hoping I'll get more hits. I'm hoping I'll get more love hits from them, because that's how I survive. Without those hits, I feel like I'm gonna die. It's like a real problem. So anyways, let's see here. Some love addicts find that when not involved in a love-addicted relationship, they are able to care for themselves quite adequately. However, when they become involved, the love addict quickly finds that their self-care capacity steadily declines. So again, same thing happens to me. Like when I'm single for like the short periods of time I'm single for, I always get better. Like my health gets better, my finances get better, emotionally, spiritually, I always get better. I'm more involved in my passions, my hobbies, all of that. The moment I get into a relationship with a narc, because it's always with a narc, except for my first boyfriend, he wasn't a narc, I decline in my health, finances, everything. Everything just goes down the tubes, because I just don't care about myself anymore. I just care about him. It's very unhealthy. People generally become love addicts due to a past history of abandonment from their primary caregivers. Adult love addicts usually recognize as children that their most precious needs for validation, love, and connection with one or both parents were not met. So this, of course, for us survivors, this is true for us, right? Our caregivers did not love us properly. They abused us, right? So yeah, this affects their self-esteem dramatically in adult life. I want to read that again, so important. This affects their self-esteem dramatically in adult life. It results in a conscious fear of abandonment and an underlying subconscious fear of intimacy. To a love addict, intensity in a relationship is often mistaken for intimacy. I want to read that again. To a love addict, intensity in a relationship is often mistaken for intimacy. So again, all of this is true for me too. Yeah, so so love addiction stems from super low self-esteem. So that's important to recognize. And you know, we were abused as children and stuff like that. So of course, that's going to affect our self-esteem in a huge way, and then affect us in our adult life unless we get the healing. Okay. As with any addiction, recovery from love addiction is a process of self-discovery. It requires taking specific steps, breaking through denial, and acknowledging the addiction, owning the harmful consequences of the addiction, and intervening to stop the addictive cycle from occurring. So this is the hard part. I know for me, I was in denial for a long time. I did not think I was a love addict at all until more recently. Okay, ultimately, love addicts must enter a grieving process to address the underlying emotional pain that is at the core of the addiction. Wow. That's good. I want to read that again. Ultimately, love addicts must enter a grieving process to address the underlying emotional pain that is at the core of the addiction. In Pia Melody's book, Facing Love Addiction, the author gives journaling assignments that address each aspect of the recovery process, exploring the childhood experiences that may result in love addiction. Additionally, the support of 12-step meetings such as SLAA, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, provide both a framework and community support for the addict to engage in the healing work of recovery. Love addicts experience withdrawal symptoms. Working with a therapist can help guide the love addict through the process of talking about childhood experiences of abandonment, navigating through the feelings of pain, fear, anger, and emptiness that may surface, and releasing old emotions that contribute to negative acting out behaviors. A solid relationship with a skilled therapist trained in love and sex addiction can help guide the love addict through this process. Wow, that's really, 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 really helpful. So that is what love addiction is. Yeah, let's go into the treatment. Love addiction treatment. So this is from loveaddictiontreatment.com. I'm going to post the link below, the exact URL. Okay, so this is how you treat love addiction. The treatment for love or relationship addiction is really not that different than the treatment for any other type of addiction. The primary goals of treatment are to 1. Learn to manage the obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors, and 2. Learn how to develop healthy relationships that aren't driven by unhealthy needs that really have nothing to do with love. Good point. See, that's a confusing thing about love addiction to me. Like, for the longest time, I didn't understand the term love addiction. So when we're talking about love addiction, it's not like you have a problem with true love. That's not the case at all. Love addiction is being addicted to false love, like love that really isn't there, which is very, very dangerous. Okay, starting out, accomplishing these goals may seem impossible if you are suffering from love addiction, but recovery is possible. It does require the willingness to admit that you have a problem. That's the first step, guys, and a commitment to make the necessary changes to overcome it. As with all addictions, in order to make lasting change, it is very helpful to understand the root of your addictive behavior. The root typically stems from painful childhood issues such as neglect, abandonment, lack of appropriate nurturing from your primary caregivers, and or trauma such as emotional, physical, or sexual abuse. So, we went through all of this. Like I said, it's very common for us to have love addiction. I think it's pretty much almost inevitable for most of us. A combination of the above is not uncommon. Most love addicts are trying to avoid genuine intimacy, escape from or numb painful emotions, and or desperately avoid abandonment. Okay, types of love addiction treatment. Treatment for love addiction varies depending on the philosophy of the program, the severity of the addiction, and whether or not you have another addiction or disorder, such as anxiety or depression as well. Types of treatment for love addiction may include the following. Okay, so there's like a list of like 20 different treatments. Okay, so I'm just going to read them off. Individual, family, couples, or group counseling or therapy. Support groups and 12-step programs such as Love Addicts Anonymous, or Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, or Codependence Anonymous. Residential love addiction treatment. That's cool. Medication, if indicated as an adjunct to other treatment. Support groups are often available online as well as available to attend live in many cities. Important steps on the road to recovery. Following are several important steps. Are you going along your recovery journey? Start with a decision that you need to make lasting changes. Make sure your motivation for change is because you want to change, and recognize the benefits of change, not because someone else is pressuring you or due to other external reasons. Understand the scope and underlying purpose or function of your addictive behaviors. Recognize and understand the fears and pain that drove your compulsive behavior. Learn to recognize the triggers for your addictive behaviors. Begin removing and avoiding those triggers as much as possible. Very important. Whatever you can control in your environment, do so. Establish healthy boundaries in all your relationships. Develop an action plan to manage and reduce powerful urges when they occur. Learn healthy ways to cope with painful feelings, stress, and problems in your life. Learn the ways in which society and others in your life do things that may have encouraged your addictive behavior. Recognize that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way, such as loss, without depending on someone else to make you feel safe and okay. Make amends with those you've hurt or let down. As you progress in recovery, start putting your time and energy into developing other aspects of your life in a healthy way. For example, working on personal goals, developing healthy new relationships, etc. So that's all awesome. So many different ways to recover, right? So we should all have hope because we can definitely recover and heal 100% from all our wounds, all our trauma. I totally believe in that. So this is really cool. They give the 12 steps for love addicts directly from Love Addicts Anonymous. So it's in this article, so I'm just going to read them out loud. These are the 12 steps, okay? Number 1, We admitted we were powerless over love, romance, fantasies, and relationships, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood God. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. Humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others, including ourselves. 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God, praying only for the knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others and practice these principles in all our affairs. So yeah, and then there's like a little link here if you want to read that directly. I'm going to include all that for you guys, okay? No worries. So finally, I think this is the last paragraph of this article. The sooner you reach out for help and start the road to recovery, the better. Regardless of how you feel or what you've been taught, you deserve to live a happy, fulfilled life. One that is not filled with shame, guilt, self-loathing, or feelings of worthlessness. There is hope for tomorrow if you take the first step towards recovery today. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to start with giving you guys a definition of what love addiction is and what the treatments are. And like I said, in the next weeks, I'm going to kind of go over some of this more in depth, okay? I just kind of wanted to give an overview. Yeah, if you have any comments, questions, please comment below. Remember to give this video a like. I love you all so much. If you want to join me in my Google Hangout, just go to my website, patreon.com/BoyiNadaraja, and you can join other survivors of child sexual abuse, love addicts, codependents. You can join us and we can heal together and chat together and share stories with each other and yeah, just help one another, okay? I love you all. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Mwah.
Have you come to the end of yourself? Do you thirst for a drink from the well? Jesus is calling.